When Microsoft released the Surface Book 1 in 2015, it was one of a kind. No company had ever attempted a traditional laptop design with a detachable screen before, probably for good reason. The level of engineering put into this device is astonishing, but it is a double-edged sword. I still think this is a powerhouse of a computer, but there are now too many one-of-a-kind issues to overlook. I've owned this device for 3 years now, so let's discuss how it has endured. This is a legacy review of the Microsoft Surface Book 1 Performance Base. The Surface Book Performance Base was originally released in November 2016. It was a decent upgrade from the original model, including a larger battery and a more powerful GPU. I purchased mine from eBay in August 2019 before going off to college. Microsoft was targeting a very specific audience with this product: students. This is a demographic that needs a computer that can do almost everything. It has touch and pen input for digital note-taking, a crisp, color-accurate display for graphic design, a capable GPU for creators and gamers, excellent battery life for web readers, and high-quality cameras for video conferencing. The Surface Book has all of these features packed into a one-of-a-kind form factor. However, because of this, it is not flawless in any category. I can best describe this laptop as the jack-of-all-trades, master of none. Additionally, all of these features make the Surface Book a major blow to any wallet. Looking at Surface Book 3 prices, it becomes increasingly difficult to justify this purchase when competitors have better specs for often the same price. For example, Lenovo and Dell offer plenty of cheaper, more practical, and powerful laptops to choose from. If you're not going to utilize all the features of the Surface Book, it's hard to justify buying one. When you buy this, you're paying for the Microsoft brand name and the engineering that went into it, like every Apple product. I'll quickly go over the hardware. The included I/O are 2 USB 3.0 ports, a full-size SD card reader, mini DisplayPort, headphone jack, and the magnetic surface charger. And along the top, you'll find the power button and volume rocker. Overall, a well-rounded I/O package. USB-C wasn't common at the time, so Microsoft implemented it for the Surface Book 2 and 3. For my use case, mini DisplayPort still gets the job done. I especially appreciate the SD card slot because it makes ingesting media from my camera so much simpler. No dongle required. Apple even decided to bring back the SD card reader for their 2021 MacBook Pro. Microsoft calls the screen the Pixel Sense display, or how I like to call it, marketing jargon. It's a 13.5-inch display with a resolution of 2000 by 3000 pixels. This is by far the best screen I've ever used on a laptop. It's got excellent color reproduction and a very wide brightness range that I can even use outdoors. The blacks look especially nice when using the device in the dark. Some may find the bezels to be too large, but I personally don't mind them because it makes handling the tablet portion much easier with fewer accidental touches. The keyboard and trackpad are both excellent, just like the Surface Pro line. It remains a superb typing setup to this day, and it was better than the MacBook Pro competition at the time. Pen and touch input are also excellent, as expected for a Surface product, but that doesn't mean they're exempt from bugs. I'll talk about this later. The hinge is the most iconic and debatable aspect of this design. It is quite wobbly when using the touchscreen, and it leaves an unsightly gap in between the screen and keyboard when the laptop is closed. My hinge makes a bunch of weird crackling noises when I open and close it, so it seems that dust and other contaminants have found their way inside over time. The engineering awe wears off once you realize the hinge is responsible for most of this device's bugs. In order to have the detachability feature, the motherboard and battery are stored in the tablet, and a GPU and a second battery are stored in the keyboard. Detaching the tablet is usually as easy as holding down the dedicated button on the keyboard. However, the battery of the tablet portion is pretty garbage, so I rarely use this feature. I only got around 2 hours of battery life starting at 100%. The most recent use case I have found is holding the tablet in front of my face while I'm recording this script. Like all complex processes, this detaching mechanism can fail for a variety of reasons, leaving you unable to detach the display. Let's talk about why this happens. Both batteries must be operational for the screen detaching mechanism to work. If for any reason the battery in the tablet portion fails, the display cannot be ejected. In my case, the tablet battery and the keyboard battery both began to swell in 2020, just because the batteries were 4 years old at this point. Due to this swelling, one of the screws responsible for affixing the motherboard to the battery contact pads became dislodged due to a design flaw. This led to poor contact between the motherboard and battery contacts, so the computer could not accurately report the state of the tablet battery. The tablet battery, or battery 1, would be reported as missing or at 0%, and therefore detaching the screen would be disabled. The only way to fix this issue was replacing the battery and reattaching that screw/washer that holds the motherboard down. I superglued the washer back to the motherboard during my repair. I spent my Christmas break in 2021 repairing this machine. It took approximately 10 hours to complete, with most of my time being spent removing and cleaning up the industrial strength adhesive Microsoft used. The tablet portion was much more difficult to work on because the screen is extremely delicate. And to get to the batteries, the entire computer needs to be disassembled. I had to slice the batteries out by softening the adhesive with isopropyl alcohol and then sawing with index cards and dental floss. What a mess. After the repair, I saw that I accidentally melted a few keys on the right side of the keyboard because I applied the heat gun for too long. I also cracked my screen protector, but other than that, it was a flawless job. It's been about 1 year since the repair, and the rubber feet on my computer have begun to fall apart. This issue appears to be common for Surface Books. Microsoft doesn't offer replacements for some reason. The battery life also significantly improved, and now I'm able to get around 3 days on a single charge when I'm using it for data recording and note-taking. The computer is now behaving like originally, and I have not run into any other issues since the repair. After disassembling both portions of this computer, I can confidently conclude that you should not buy a Surface Book 1 unless the batteries have already been replaced. At this point, the original batteries are all 4 to 5 years old and at risk of swelling, if they're not already swollen. I originally sold my Pro 4 because I wanted something beefier. I wanted that bigger screen, a bigger battery, and a dedicated GPU. And at the time, a Surface Book was the best hybrid for my use case. I bought a Book 1 because the Book 2 was too expensive for me. I needed something for note-taking, drawing, a little bit of graphic design, and photo editing. After replacing the batteries, this computer still does everything I want it to, but the dual-core i7 is starting to show its age, especially in Lightroom and my drawing apps. Furthermore, do not consider this laptop if you're not going to use all of its features. There are cheaper video editing laptops and 2-in-1s out there with higher grade specs that are far more repairable that also don't break your wallet. The critical issue with all modern products, especially like this one where it's glued shut, is that it's a matter of when, not if, the batteries fail. And once they do, you'll have to attempt the arduous repair yourself or scrap the computer completely. Take a look at this. I recently attempted to repair this Pro 4 that had a swollen battery, and you can clearly see that I did not succeed. This is not an easy job. Even Microsoft has abandoned the Surface Book line. As of recording the script, Microsoft has discontinued the Surface Book in favor of the Surface Laptop Studio. Additionally, Microsoft is trying to make more repairable products, so for the Surface Pro 9, they are using screwed-in batteries rather than glued batteries. In conclusion, the detachable display Surface Book was over-engineered, and it ultimately under-delivered.